What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we lost to Wolves 1-0 at Molineux yesterday in another damaging loss for Tottenham Hotspur. Let's start off with Fraser Forster, 7s all round from us. And I thought it was a really good display from Forster yesterday, making countless amount of saves. But it was obviously the goal where he's going to get marked down on. And I probably would have given him an 8 if it wasn't for the goal that we did concede. He saved it and he parried it only as far as Adama Traore, and they do go 1-0 up and win the game.
Yeah, I got no complaints about Forster, apart from maybe the goal. He didn't have to parry it central. He could have put it out for a corner, in my opinion, so wasn't fantastic. But I thought the saves he did make were good. I don't think he made any save which you don't expect him to make, but he still had to make the saves, and especially from Ruben Neves, he had to make some crucial saves from him. So fair play to Fraser Forster, decent display from him.
Yeah, moving on to Cuti Romero, 6 from Sim, 7 from me. I thought he was the best defender on the day for Tottenham Hotspur. And he was making those aggressive challenges, which we always know he will do. I mean, he maybe might have been the defender that could have got closest to Adama Traore when he did score that goal. But apart from that, I thought he put in a really good display.
Yeah, I thought he was really aggressive and his passing out the back was really good for the most part. As with the whole team, he did struggle a bit more later on, but I thought by and large it was decent from Romero, not too many complaints for him.
Yeah, moving on to Ben Davis. Sim gives him a 4, I gave him a 6. Look, I thought he was okay, but that's about it. It's a standard like Ben Davis. I thought defensively he was all right. Didn't get forward too many times in terms of creating and joining in on our attacks. But I can't remember too many things he'd done wrong. I'm sure you're going to tell me otherwise.
To be fair, I just don't think he combined well enough with Perisic on the left-hand side, and I don't think I actually saw Longley getting forward a bit more than Ben Davis was. But I also thought when Adama came on, he was giving him a bit of trouble on down that side. I don't think he did too much wrong, but I just don't think he was particularly good.
Fair enough. Next up, Clement Longley, the centre of the back 3, 4s all round from us. And first half, he wasn't really troubled at all, to be honest. And I thought he was playing some really nice balls into the midfield and to the wings. And it was the second half where I had a problem with him, and he really started to struggle in that second half, coming under pressure. And it feels like when you put Longley under pressure, he does usually falter. But this time, he made this really weird one where the ball came to him and he just literally just made such a sloppy, stupid pass. I can't remember who it was into, but they got a chance. I think it was Moutinho, and they got a chance off the back of that. Very lucky that they didn't score that because Cunha was in. But in that second half, he just didn't fill me with any sort of confidence whatsoever. And it's frightening now for Wednesday night.
I thought for a lot of the game he was actually pretty good up until the bit when Wolves started to gain control, and then once he did kind of start to struggle to compete. I thought for the first hour, like a lot of the team, he was really solid, aggressive, and actually getting to the forward areas and helping out the midfield as well, and I was actually pretty happy with him. But once Wolves upped their energy and were swarming all over our back 3, he really did start to struggle and started to give the ball away in bad areas, started to get out-muscled as well, and it was poor in the end. But I did think for the first hour he was pretty good, so hopefully Wednesday night's more like the first hour.
Next up, Pedro Porro on the right wing back. Sim gives him a 6, I gave him a 7. I thought he was our most creative and attacking outlet on the day. I thought he was really good on that right hand side. That free kick as well, best free kick that we've seen in a while. He was getting in really good areas, good passing ability as well. And he had a couple of shots during the day, and I thought it was a complete wrong move to take him off, as he was probably the most likely source of a goal.
I thought you kind of saw the best and worst of him. I thought when he was good, he looked really bright and creative, and he looked sharp. And he obviously, as you say, he hit the bar. He had some really good efforts on goal. He had some really good cutbacks as well. But then on the flip side, he had some really bad moments. He had that shot from with his outside of the boot, which went ballooned over the bar. He had that moment when he was trying to see our goal kick and ended up letting Neto pinch it off him, and that nearly set up a chance for Wolves as well. And I thought he lost too many ground jewels. He could have done a bit better in that aspect. So definitely improving, much better on the ball. Still got some way to go off the ball there, in my opinion.
Next up, Ivan Perisic. 3s all round from Perisic, and this is following on a very worrying trend with Ivan Perisic since the World Cup, to be honest. I thought Look, he was getting in some really good spaces, especially in that first half, but he just couldn't seem to do anything with it. I mean, his crossing of late has been absolutely atrocious. It really has. He did get in some good areas in terms of that header early on in the game where the keeper was equal to it. But it's his use of the possession when he gets it. I mean, he consistently losing the ball, consistently misplacing passes, and consistently putting terrible crosses in. So Perisic needs to up his game massively if we're going to get anything from him this season.
Yeah, he found himself one-on-one against Semedo countless amount of times during the game, but just couldn't take full advantage of it. And that was really disappointing. I thought he started the game really well, was part of the team creating chances from left wing back, but as the game wore on, his influence was less and less, and should have taken more of the opportunities that came his way. He had a decent opportunity from header as well, and it was disappointing in the end, his final third delivery. Defensively as well, once Adama came on, he was having a bit of trouble, and as you say, his lack of care in possession is starting to really annoy me, to be honest, because so many times he's just playing blind passes around the corner and giving it away and putting the team under pressure, and it's just not good enough. And yeah, I'm not sure what we do about it, and unless we play Davis, I don't know. I don't know. Play Sanchez at the back, it's difficult. But Perisic has really got up his game.
It's like which one do you go for? Do you go for Davinson Sanchez in the back or Perisic at left wing back? I mean, I'll probably still prefer to persist with Perisic, to be honest, than play Davinson Sanchez. But when you're talking about lack of care on the ball, let's talk about this next person, in Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. And the reason I bumped him up a mark, because I was going to give him a 4, but I just felt like he put in a really good shift in that first half, so I didn't want to just completely gloss over that, because he did have a good performance in that first half, or the first half of the first half anyway. But as the second half came on and they made that tactical switch, I felt he got completely overrun, kept losing the ball time and time again. I mean, he did win the ball really well high up the pitch or around the halfway line, where we did have that chance when Heung-min Son hit the bar. But I think that was pretty much it from him in the second half. I thought he was really, really poor in that second half.
Yeah, I thought first half he linked up really well with Skippy, and I thought they were providing a really good solid base and a good partnership and dominating in the central area. And I thought they were really looking like they were going to have a really good game and they were on top of things. But as Wolves grew into the game and as they made changes, Neves was growing in influence, and all of a sudden Hojbjerg started to become really sloppy and started giving the ball away in dangerous areas, and that was really frustrating. So I thought, as you say, I thought he had a really good first hour, and then it became really poor for that last half an hour, and that's why I bumped him down to a 4 in the end.
All right, next up is his midfield partner in Ollie Skip. 7s all round from us, and I thought he was probably our best player on the day, to be fair. I thought he used the ball really well. He was combative in the middle of the park, playing some nice forward passes as well. But again, towards the end of the game, last 20 minutes, he did get overrun in the midfield a bit. But I thought for that first hour, 70 minutes, he was probably the best player on the park.
Yeah, I have to agree. I thought he was really good. Even for the last half an hour, I thought he was probably better than Hojbjerg, and his passing was on a really good level, playing some really good switches of play on the money and setting up chances, recycling the ball really well, playing progressive passes as well. So I was really happy with Skippy. He did struggle for the last 25 minutes, as the rest of the team did, and I thought maybe the man Stellini could have made a change to just help swing things back in our favour from an energy point of view. But I did think on the day he was had a really good game, so pretty happy with Skippy.
Next up, let's go to the forward line and let's go to Deki, Dejan Kulusevski. 5s all round for Dek. And look, Kulusevski started the game really well with getting that chance, a nice curling effort where Sarr made a really good save to keep that out. But look, apart from that, I can't remember anything he did to influence the game, and I felt like he just weaned out of the game, and until he got taken off, really.
I thought he was pretty bright throughout most of the game, to be honest. He had that, as you said, that effort, which was a world-class save, to be fair, from Sarr. Fingertips save, which prevented it from hitting the corner. I thought he was linking up really nicely with Porro. He put in a really nice cross for Longley as well, where Longley had a header, which Sarr was straight at Sarr in the end. And I did think he was looking quite bright on that right-hand side, and I felt like they were struggling to deal with him a bit. His influence did lessen as the game went on, unfortunately, especially later in the game. They did feel like they had to make a change, and he had to be the full guy. But I thought overall he was okay, but again, didn't make the most of the opportunities that he had, albeit he was a world-class save away from getting a goal.
Next up, Harry Kane. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 6. And, wow, I think 3 is a bit harsh. But I think Harry Kane, especially in the first half, I thought everything that we were doing well was all coming from him, pretty much. He was the one in the second half that laid it on the plate for Heung-min Son. A couple of other chances in the first half where he was being chief creator. And I thought he was being really aggressive as well up against the Wolves players. I thought he won quite a number of duels in the middle of the park. Couldn't really do anything as a number 9 can do, where he's on the end of things, trying to finish things. He didn't have many shots throughout the game. But I thought when we were on top, he was the one knitting the play together.
Interesting. I thought he was the one well shackled. I thought he was the worst of the 3. I thought Son and Kulusevski were more involved in the game than he was. I actually thought they were really up aggressive against him, and I thought they were winning it pretty much every time. There might have been a couple of occasions where he was coming out on top, but I thought Lamina was really on top of him before he went off. I was actually surprised that Lamina went off because I thought he shackled him so well. And as well, I thought his finishing was completely off it. He had a couple of efforts. One where he had a swivel from the edge of the area, which was over the bar, but it was actually a decent effort, but it would have been a great goal to get it from there. They needed another effort, which Lucas played him in on goal, and that was his big chance, and he kind of fluffed it a bit, hit it into the ground, it bounced over the bar, and ended up not hitting the target, and I thought his finishing could have been a lot better. And I just thought he was pretty... he struggled, I thought, but compared to the rest of the front 3, I thought he struggled the most. And yeah, he to be fair, he had that moment where he played Son through on goal, and Son could have scored. But apart from that, I thought he was really well shackled by Wolves.
Interesting. I think that's probably been the biggest separation in points that we've had for a while in terms of player ratings. But let us know in the comment section below what you would rate Harry Kane. But let's move on to the last of the starting 11, Heung-min Son. 6s all round from us, and I thought he was our brightest attacker. Had a couple of chances through the game, one where he hit the bar, the other one where he went through on goal. He was offside, but if that wasn't called for offside, you're talking about a howler from Heung-min Son. But look, he was running about the place, giving some really good energy. I thought towards maybe last 25 minutes, half an hour of the game, he wasn't really in the game, but before that I thought he was the most likely of the one to score a goal or to make a chance happen. And yeah, I thought it was better than it has been the last previous weeks, or pretty much all season, but still not that good.
Yeah, I thought he took some decent set pieces as well. Played a really good cross into Perisic from the free kick, which Perisic was able to convert. And I felt he was able to run at people. He was able to get his be forward facing as opposed to having his back to goal, which he really struggles when he does that. He was looking probably our most likely player to score, as you say. Well, he did hit the bar, and he had a couple of really nice efforts from outside the box, which Sarr had to be equal to. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And I did think in the latter stage of the game, couldn't really help turn it around, and was a bit anonymous for the last 20 minutes. But I did think on the day he was the one who looked most likely to score and most involved, in my opinion.
And last but not least, the manager, Christian Stellini. 3s all round from us for Stellini. And after he had that 100% record, now that's a loss at Sheffield and a loss at Wolves as well, without scoring a goal. And it was really frustrating, because you got to give Stellini credit for the way we started the game and the way how we dominated that first half and how we were controlling the game, especially in that first half. But when you're on top, you've got to get that goal, and we didn't do that. In the second half, Wolves made the changes very early on in that second half, at half-time. And I thought that they kind of took the ascendancy from there, albeit, yeah, we did have a chance at the beginning of that second half, but straight away after that chance, I thought Wolves were the team on top, and we couldn't find a way around it. And the in-game management was really poor from Stellini. He waited up until the last 10, 15 minutes to make a change, to try and swing the pendulum back in our favour, but it didn't work. And we need to start making changes earlier, and you need to make better changes as well, because why take off Pedro Porro when he was our most player looking like he was going to create something for us? You take off Pedro Porro, you bring on Emerson Royal, who we know is not the best attacking wing-back in the world. And on top of that, why bring on Lucas Moura when you've got 60 million Richarlison that we signed in the summer waiting in the wings on the bench, and Danjuma, who we signed in January as well, who's not getting a look in whatsoever. So I don't get the changes that he made yesterday, and I didn't get the in-game management because there was little, next to nothing of in-game management really.
Yeah, I just think I was frustrated with his management because we could have added more energy and more legs to the team when we were clearly starting to wane and Wolves were starting to physically dominate us and start to swarm us, and we just kept it the same up until we conceded. Really, Wolves were adding fresh legs onto the pitch, and we were just keeping with the same players. And it does worry me when I hear Stellini say, that there was no need to change in the game, and we were doing well, and we were doing well for a lot of the game. I mean, for the first 65 minutes, the shot count was 17-1 after 65 minutes. So I kind of feel for him from that point, but I did feel like he should have seen what was coming, and he should have seen that with all the fresh legs Wolves were bringing and all the energy they were bringing, they were starting to dominate, and we failed to react, and that was really disappointing. And in the end, we got hit by it, and you could say, we were unlucky because we were dominating a lot of the game. But at the end of the day, when you don't take your chances, you got to make sure that you're still trying to dominate. You're still trying to chase, and it's no good dominating for an hour without scoring if you're going to allow the opposition to take control for the last 25 minutes and win the game. So I did think the game management was poor, and it's a really, really frustrating day. All in all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is our player ratings from the 1-0 defeat at Molineux yesterday. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of our ratings, and put your ratings as well in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.